You're at risk. All of us are at risk. And I'm not talking about STDs, global warming, or terrorism. I'm talking about your life online. You're at risk of having your computer taken over so that perfect strangers can read your email, access your bank accounts, pilfer your credit card numbers, and even steal your identity. I've seen this over and over again at my summer job as a computer technician at a nationwide computer store. You wouldn't believe how many computers are compromised and infected. As college students, we're particularly vulnerable because we spend so much time online. According to David Tatter, manager of Wisconsin's Consumer Office of Privacy Protection, 32% of all identity theft claims are filed by people between the ages of 18 and 29 years old. That's the largest percentage of any age group. Today, I'd like to explain 3 additional steps that experts recommend for online security: using strong passwords, using secure connections, and double-checking links before clicking on them. Step 1. The first step is using strong passwords for email accounts, bank accounts, and everything else that you do online. What makes a strong password? Take a look at this example. IWBIP, semicolon, semicolon, 4387 hyphen CSAMFF. Now, this is a long password, but that's part of its strength. The first criterion of a strong password is having 10 characters. 15 or more is even better, like the one I showed you. It should also include upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and punctuation, such as semicolons, hyphens, and underscores. According to Microsoft's online guide to creating strong passwords, when your passwords contain long combinations of seemingly random letters, numbers, and punctuation, your security increases exponentially, meaning that a password like the one I showed you is literally billions of times more secure than something short and ordinary, like hot dog or college. In addition to having a strong password, you should use a secure connection whenever possible. How do you know if a connection is secure or insecure? Here's an insecure connection. If you look at the address bar, you'll see the first letters are HTTP, highlighted here with the red arrow. Whenever you see HTTP in a website address, your connection is not secure. It's fine to read websites with this kind of connection, but you should never transmit sensitive information over HTTP. When the connection is secure, it will begin with HTTPS, as in this example. And think of the S as standing for safe or secure. So far, we've seen the importance of having a strong password and of using secure connections whenever transmitting sensitive data. The third step is double-checking links before you click them. This is a little more involved than the previous steps, but it's just as important. For example, here's an email that was supposedly sent from my bank, Franklin Bank. It tells me that I need to click on the blue link in order to update my account information. But if we take a closer look, we can see that while the link says bankfranklin.com, the actual destination is another site entirely. If I hold my cursor over the link for a second or two without clicking on it, the yellow box that pops up will show the real website, not Franklin Bank, but something called ssedu.org.cn/DEDE. This looks like it might be my bank's information, but it's not. It's a fraudulent website run by a hacker who's trying to gain access to my financial information. By double-checking potentially questionable links before you click on them, you can avoid scams like this one. What do you do if the email link doesn't match the one your cursor reveals? The answer is, don't click. It's as simple as that. At the beginning of this speech, I said that you're at risk. And that's true, but you're not helpless. I've shared 3 proven ways to protect yourself: strong passwords, secure connections, and double-checking links. I hope you'll find this information helpful as you fight this endless battle for online security.
Cockroaches crawling all over you. You try to move, but you can't. You realize you are slowly being consumed by these cockroaches and are completely petrified. This is what it's like to suffer from catserotophobia. I myself have suffered from this most petrifying fear of cockroaches and have only recently gotten over this fear. Even if you don't have catserotophobia, you might suffer from a more general form of this phobia that falls under anxiety. This includes the fear of social gatherings, panic attacks, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. I am here to take you through this phobia and provide more information about catserotophobia, including how to treat it. We will be going over what is catserotophobia, what are the effects of catserotophobia, and how to treat this phobia. So, what is catserotophobia? Catserotophobia is a phobia listed under anxiety disorder and specific phobias. They are brought on by a specific thing. This could have been brought on by a bad experience with a cockroach in childhood. However, according to the American Psychological Association, phobias are learned from our parents, and not in our childhood as once thought. Also, just thinking about a cockroach can bring on an intense panic attack. This may not be the case for all people who suffer from this most petrifying phobia, but for a majority, a simple image of a cockroach can trigger the most intense panic attack. According to the Encyclopedia of Phobias, Fears, and Anxieties, people are afraid of cockroaches because they can transmit diseases and are very hard to kill, causing people to feel like there's no escape from them. According to the Mental Health America, catserotophobia is a fear that completely immobilizes a person to a point where rational thinking is limited, and the person becomes so scared that they are at the point of hysteria.
If this picture of a cockroach scared you, you might have catserotophobia.
What are the effects of catserotophobia, you may ask? Well, if that last picture not only frightened you, but caused you to jump, scream, and breathe very heavily, then you might be experiencing the effects of catserotophobia. According to the Discovery Health, the effects of catserotophobia include heavy breathing, screaming, intense fear, immobilization, uncontrollable sobbing, and fleeing. These effects are induced when exposed to either a picture of a cockroach or the actual cockroach. So, how do you treat catserotophobia? Well, one way to treat this fear is by using cognitive behavioral therapy. This is where a therapist tries to piece together why one fears cockroaches and gains clues as to how to overcome this fear. According to Discovery Health, this is the most successful treatment by far. Also, repeated exposure therapy is another way to treat catserotophobia. There are two options here. One is by actually using cockroaches, and the second is by using a virtual reality system to overcome this fear. Now, the virtual reality treatment option is discussed by the Scientific American, and the benefits to this include having a much greater control over the exposure to realistic animations of cockroaches, where psychologists can figure out which exposure to cockroaches is enough for each person. Now, the last way is by hypnosis. This one varies completely across the spectrum. Hypnosis is used to help calm the person down and keep them in a serene state. But it's important to note that not all people are able to be hypnotized. So this treatment option is only for a small handful of people that are able to be hypnotized. After discussing all these treatment options, the best treatment is to avoid the situation if at all possible, until you're mentally ready to face this fear. Now that you know what catserotophobia is, what are the effects of catserotophobia, and how to treat catserotophobia, you are now prepared to take the first step in conquering this fear. I myself have come a long way, and with a
lot of work,
you too can do this.